No, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I was in that meeting
There we go.
on my computer.
All right.
Can I make a suggestion about the chart as we get more and more names?
Yes, Steve.
I suggested this earlier, just to make it easier to see, can we organize it alphabetically and also by specialty? So for example, if we have 20 or 30 doctors, if it's all mixed up together and it's not alphabetized and it's not,
Now I'm in the meeting.
it's hard to
Good
find
Nobody can
people.
hear me.
So, have neurologists,
Unless there's
podiatrists,
Yes.
person running the meeting
therapists,
muted everybody.
and then do it alphabetically
Not
within. So
muted.
someone's given a name,
I see it
someone
in my
said
meeting,
recommended
I can see
Perry
my microphone
Richardson.
Working.
you scan down
Right.
to Richardson, and then you call
Right.
me or
Right.
someone
Right.
else.
Talk.
So,
Which brings up the question again of volunteers. Right now, there are 5 or 6 of us doing everything in terms of getting all of these meetings ready and all of like these screens and such. If Terry gets inundated with lots of providers, which we would love, or lots of,
Whoop, what happened? Pat, you're muted.
Dave, you muted everybody, including yourself.
yeah, Pat, talk.
okay, now I'm back at, we really would need help because I'm hoping we're going to be inundated with lots of provider names. It takes you 5 minutes to find that person's business
Can
card
anybody hear me?
and fill in the form.
Dave, we hear you now, but we don't want to hear you talking to Roberta.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm asking you to think about, if you think this is a valuable resource, which I really do, volunteer to help us get it put together, because you can do the form for one doctor, his name, her name, the location and telephone number. But if we have 50 doctors and we want to put them in specialties and then we want to alphabetize them, it will need some people's help. Terry and I simply can't do it alone. So you can email us directly. You can raise your hand right now, which I would probably do a cartwheel if I saw somebody say they would do it. Because I was up till midnight last night putting some of this together. And I'm not bragging, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that if we want to make this a useful directory, we're going to have people's help. And you will have to provide the information. It's not going to be enough for you to say, I saw Dr. Hoke at Hopkins. I need to know Dr. Hoke at which part of Hopkins and what telephone number can I reach him at? Do you understand? Response, please.
Helene raised her hand. Helene raised her hand.
All right, Helene.
Elaine, please.
I didn't. I was going to ask a question.
Oh,
I wish I could volunteer. I can't right now. But if we have the Control F function or the Apple F function, that would help in finding things in a table, even if they get a little bit discombobulated.
Right.
So although it would be great to have everything by endocrinologist, neurologist, whatever, it may be that we have to rely on the find function.
That's true. We are going to have to maybe be satisfied with it not being perfect at the beginning. I like organization, but the more important thing is if you don't submit it, the information, it can't be put into the directory. Could you please either Judd or Mike go up to the home button here on our web page and click on it for me, please?
Yeah, can you hear me, Pat?
Pat,
Yes.
this
Okay.
is Joanne. After the election, I'm doing a lot of get out the vote work right now.
Okay.
But after November 3rd, I would be willing to help.
Thank you very, very much.
And what exactly are you looking for volunteers to do? Do you have a parameter? I mean, I'm not sure what you're looking for me to do, so I'm a little reluctant to say, okay, because
Sure.
I'm
Sure.
stressed.
The reason I asked him to put this up, if you will please click on join, whoever is able to, Judd, join. And this is our PN membership form. This is what we envision, a form like this. By the way, if you didn't know this, this is how you officially join our group. You fill this out and it goes to dcpnsupport.org. And thankfully, Judd or Steve or someone responds to you and says, welcome to our group. We envision a similar form for providers, equipment, medications and supplements. But we wanted to just discuss it with you all today, whether you think this is worth the effort or you have other ideas for things that might be included. And you know, we're welcome to any ideas. This is not in concrete by any means.
Can I make a comment about volunteering?
Yes, say your name, please.
It's really important as
It's Mike.
people who are volunteering now. It's really important that we specify what exactly we're looking for.
Mhm.
We love the idea of somebody raising their hand and say, I'll volunteer, but we're not asking, we don't want to be in the position of asking you to volunteer to invade Normandy by yourself. That's not the point. It's really an obligation on the part of the people who are volunteering now to specify what specific things we want. Even that takes time to do because we want to say, oh, we have this little piece that needs to be done. Can you do that little piece? It takes work to get to that point of even asking that question. And last year, we got a lot of volunteers. In 2019, we got a lot of volunteers, but we were so overwhelmed. We were trying to do so many things at once. We never really got a chance to be systematic. Susan Tipton told us right off that this was a really hard thing, that a really important thing. And by God, we tried. But so when we ask for volunteers, we're asking you to be sympathetic more than anything else. But in the end, to do this right, we're going to have to send you specific requests for what we need. And it just takes time and work to get to the point where we can formulate. I wrote a really long document of all the things I think we need. And it's somewhere on the list of to-dos, but it never quite reached the top yet, but it will.
In response to what Mike just said, and whoever, I'm not sure, was talking, I think it was Joanne, said about what do you actually need? Part of today's discussion was, one, is this a viable directory? Two, are you going to take the time to sit down and fill out the form if we design the form and put it on the website? Are you going to take the time to send in your information about assisted driving or a neurologist that you use? And three, once those start coming in, we will need the help compiling them and putting them into the table so it's more useful. That at least is how I see it. Terry, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's great. And maybe people can write in the chat like, yes, this is a great idea, for us, or.
I love Bruce's idea of looking at CJ's, why reinvent the wheel?
Right.
And I actually,
Coping, different ways to cope with it. I like that.
yes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be entities like products, services, medications. Maybe it's coping strategies.
No, I like that. I think that should be added, like mindfulness or meditation or whatever the coping strategy is, because this is a difficult thing to have. At least it was for me. The diagnosis, can be mentally taxing. So.
I describe it as life altering.
Yes, life altering.
Because I really have, everything I do now focuses on this, which
Right.
really upsets my wife, and I'm sure all the spouses,
Right.
all of you who have spouses.
Right. Like every
big
day I
deal.
wake up and my feet hit the floor and I hope like it'll be gone, but alas, it's there.
By the way, I think I have to jump in. It's life altering. It's limiting us physically. But look what we're doing. We're not being stymied mentally. We're still able to look forward each day to what we can accomplish.
Right.
We have to accept the fact we have it and not wish things were like they used to
Yeah.
be. We
Right.
have to think about what we can do to help others who are less fortunate than ourselves.
Right. And also, we kind of have Lou. Lou's on the call, and Lou is he's the president of the board of our Peripheral Neuropathy Foundation. Thank you, Lou, so much for being here. And I was very fortunate
Thank you.
to have a call with the director, I guess, director of
Lindsay?
development of the
Oh.
foundation. Lovely person.
Yeah, thank you. Mhm.
And really, we really need to help support them. I think there's only 3 members who are actually paid to work.
Correct.
Correct, Lou?
Wow.
And
Very
that,
small, yeah.
it's a very small staff. And
Given how many millions of people have neuropathy, right?
I know, that's
Right.
crazy. I really want all of you people, if you can, and this is not going to take you very long, to go to go to NPR, or local NPR station, and say, 30 million people have this, I have this, it's idiopathic, you should do a story about it. We all need to get more awareness going for this. I don't know if we want to do like the ALS dumping the water over our head, or dance for neuropathy on Facebook, and like birthday fundraisers on Facebook. Lou, I don't know anything about the finances of the foundation.
Yeah.
But I would love to, I know that she says they're kind of working on some research. I think if we could build awareness, people don't talk about this. If we could build awareness somehow, and I think also, I know I'm rambling, that media outlets, I heard, have to do like special public announcements for free every once in a while. If we could get on maybe secondary markets and get some announcements going. And I have a friend who works at College of Charleston. She's in like the office where kids, when they need to build their resumes, they go there. And she said that there's a thing called Handshake, and if like the Peripheral Association needs an intern to help with that she could hook up an intern for that. They just have to have a clear job description about what they want the intern to do.
Right.
And I know there's things like my husband was saying on Facebook, if you not Facebook, I guess, or Microsoft, if you work with Microsoft, you can like pay to have like tingling feet. If that comes up, that drives you to your website, like there's, I don't know how this all works, but
Yeah, I appreciate your spending time thinking about it, Terry.
But-
And I think, the publicity is hard. We have had some luck getting articles like in the Post-Health section last year. Bob the Mowgli's had one, and there was a recent one in this Brain and Life magazine. But you folks, you wouldn't imagine how hard it was. We have made, I don't know how many efforts, and Steve is aware of this, to get the AARP. You would think that would be a great organization.
oh yes,
Spread the word. They were like a brick wall. I mean, Lindsay, who's the executive director, must have approached them and different people there, and this one person who was supposed to be, the person, half a dozen times, and they didn't even respond. I mean,
I think we all need to like email AARP and start calling.
Amen.
There's 8,500 members on the Peripheral Success Stories Facebook page. Let me talk to Michael about that. He's the head of that, and let's get it going. Because AARP, that's a great magazine, and we could get more money for the foundation. Just an article in there would be great.
it would be something, right? It would be something. And,
I'll be the first to confess that I have never joined. I've been in this group for 2 years. Every month I remind myself, join the foundation, and I don't do it. It's so foolish. It's not,
Join. You have to
just
join.
not thinking about it. And right now, Lou put up that the foundation is doing a webinar on balance on September 23rd at 2:30.
Yeah.
We all should be
That's
attuned
free.
to that, which is what I'm going to talk about next when we're finished here. Steve?
Did you say, Terry, that you confirmed from the foundation that only 3 members of our support group
No,
The foundation.
no, they only have 3 members in the
Oh,
foundation.
you mean on their staff,
Right.
on their staff. I wonder how we should survey our membership. We have 300 on our email list. You know, what percentage of them are supporters of the foundation? I'd be curious.
Yeah, well, I
I'd
joined,
encourage everybody to join.
I gave them $50, and then I made on Facebook a birthday. My birthday's coming up, a birthday fundraiser, and my friend Jane gave 100, and a couple other people gave some money. So,
Nice.
and I contacted NPR. They must think I'm a nut, but I'm gonna,
It's only $30 to join.
Yeah,
Right.
the minimum, right, to get
It's
the
not very
newsletter.
much.
and stuff.
Right.
No, it's very, very inexpensive.
but they
And
need
you get a
help.
great newsletter every
There's
month.
only 3 of them, and so if anyone has any friends in media, or we can, you know, and I was
Good
thinking
point, yeah, Terry.
an intern would be great for them.
Well, you mentioned an intern. What are the chances of getting an intern to help Terry and Pat put together this Hubble thingy?
Resource.
I have a full-time
You
job.
hold for 1 second, please. Okay, my connection broke off and I lost the recording capability for a while.
Uh-oh.
I'm back on now, but I need to have the host open up the ability for me to record. And I think that's you, Mike.
No, you are the host.
Yeah, you're recording now.
You're doing fine.
It says.
Because it says, please request record permission from the meeting host when I click on the record
So,
button. But if it's
Lou-
recording, that's fine.
Lou, anything
fine.
the foundation needs,
Fine.
if they need us to write letters to AARP, let us know, because we will do it. Anything the
Yeah.
foundation needs, we will do. Oh,
I-
Well, I have an idea. Why don't we, whenever we're sitting in our renewals for AARP or Healthline or whoever it is, say, when are you going to do an article on peripheral
Yeah.
neuropathy? Why aren't you why am I subscribing if you're not covering peripheral neuropathy?
Is the Peripheral Neuropathy Foundation a lobbying group in Washington?
No,
Yes.
only recently we've been lobbying, Dave. Last year we started an advocacy campaign, and we've had good support, including from some of the members of this group, to get some research money appropriated. And
Yeah.
so we're still working on it. We haven't, Congress is a mess, but we're still working on it. We hope to have, we're cautiously optimistic that we'll get some funding.
Dave, it's on our website, and you can go back to when we asked Mark, the lobbyist, to address our group. You can get the recording or the notes from that.
Yeah, he's our guy, Mark.
You know what month that was?
That was before my time.
February or March?
Lou, do we have any results from Mark, Mike? Has he ever given us anything that he's accomplished?
Oh, we have. Well, I work with him very closely, Bruce, and he's a hard-working lobbyist. I mean, he's
Let
set
us
up
know
lots
what
of
he's-
meetings.
Let us
But we're
know what
waiting.
he's accomplished.
Well, so far what he's done is he's made some great connections on the appropriations staff, and we put in several requests to the senators who are on the key committee, and we've asked them to get us on the list for this research funding at the Defense Department, which he spoke about when he came, and those are pending. I mean, but right now Congress is not doing anything except worrying about getting elected again. And
They won't be for a while. I wrote to Warner
Right.
2 years ago and
Yeah.
got a formal response. No progress there.
I know. The form letters are frustrating, but
And what
Brenda,
about Chris Van Hollen never came through? I mean, he's on
no,
the Creations Committee.
form letters, right.
Brenda Cheadle, you had your hand up? Brenda?
Okay, good, okay.
Yes, first of all, as a former administrator, I would suggest that we have an agenda, because what we are doing is bouncing from A to B to C to D and not really consolidating or making a decision on anything. And I'm a former school teacher and school administrator, so you know where I'm coming from.
Cool, Brenda.
Some of us have already volunteered in the chat. My main interest is nerve health. I save information all the time on my own computer. I have posted on our Facebook page, but I bet a lot of people don't even know we have a Facebook page that you can join and post on. I would post on the website, but recently I haven't found any way to actually go and post on the website. but my main interest is nerve health because the problem with peripheral neuropathy is that the nerves are dying. So how do we support nerve health? How do we possibly look into things that promise nerve renewal? There's a ton of information out there. It just takes a lot of time to go and search out all these different websites. I would suggest that one section be nerve health, because that's the crux of the whole matter. And maybe one person could be responsible for service providers. And with that person's email, anytime you wanted to do to present a doctor or a service provider of some sort, you would contact them and they would only do that section. Somebody else could do medication.
I like that.
I think we need to divide it into specific groups, people who have an interest, like Diana, who's brand new, already volunteers. She said that she would do coping strategies. So I think if you divide the field into subtopics and people volunteer to be in charge of that subtopic, then there should be somebody or some way that we can then go and post this stuff as we're compiling it.
Okay.
I want to suggest a source of information, you know, things like nerve health or pyrinzapine, the drug from 2017 that Terry circulated, or lots of subjects, general subjects. You could Google these things and get all kinds of references. Why not, Pat? Why don't Google it?
No.
Go ahead.
I go to NIH, I look into what is being researched, I look at what they are trying, what medications, what products, what dosages, and if they look like things that are not helpful, that are not harmful, I try them. I've had peripheral neuropathy now for maybe 5 years. I have had great success in maintaining my independence. I use a lot of things that probably some of you, I don't know if any of you have heard of dry brushing, but dry brushing is a method for stimulating nerve regrowth. There's a whole lot to know, but there's so much to know that that's why we need different people to take different sections.
Judd, could you go ahead and put up the footnotes, please?
Yeah.
Great idea.
I'm taking notes on this, by the way.
All right, thank you. In response, or almost as a perfect segue, I have been working on something that I first called a bulletin. I don't want it to be a newsletter. I want it to be an active, changing, up to date as we can, information source for us to share. And it goes hand in hand with the resource directory, which is naming people and products we've tried, either successfully or maybe not so successfully. But this goes to what Bruce was talking about, the pyrazipine article that was put out. We get so much email that we're inundated with it and we miss important things. So I want to do this as like perhaps monthly. And Judd, you're going to have to scroll for me. I have different categories. The first one is websites. Now, you see a date. I'm a librarian. And so I like what Brenda was saying. We talk about currency. We talk about credibility. We talk about accuracy. Who are organizing, writing, and posting, publishing these websites? Do they have validity? Is it something that we can count on as being accurate or true? Now, I don't know that I have the ability. Could you, the very, very first one that I want you to look at is the dcpnsupport.org. Someone said, maybe it was Brenda, we may not even know our own website. By the way, Michael and Judd, we have a huge thank you needed for you, because this is our open link, if it will allow us to. This is what we showed you the resource directory on, and the join membership form. I'm not sure this is a working document yet, that's fine, but it gives you the notion that this is something that is being maintained. It is 2020. You can count on this being more accurate than something, if you'll scroll down further, please. Judd, further down, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, go down to the 2016-18. Scroll down.
That's the end of the page.
No, there's 5 pages.
What's that?
There are 5 pages.
Oh, no. Yeah, let me get back to the other one. Yeah,
Sorry.
the other document you meant.
No, the rest of this document. I'll keep talking. Exercises for peripheral neuropathy, aerobics and stretching. Yes, it was written in 2018, but exercises aren't going to change that much from 2018. And we've all been talking last time. Yes, that's what I asked. Were talking last month about how swimming made a difference for us. Maybe this article will suggest exercises that you hadn't even thought of might be helpful. So my new job that I want to take on is not so much the directory, and I love Brenda's idea of somebody being responsible for each section, instead of it being the overwhelming task of doing all of it. I would like to work on this and at least once a month put up what we're calling footnotes, news to know, because all of these things that are being lost in cyberspace. CJ Holliday does wonderful notes on what websites that come up in his discussions. Bruce sends us stuff on email all the time. Somebody, if we compiled it in something like this and it was on the website, our website, it would be active hot links and you could click on exercises for peripheral neuropathy. Now, when you look at 2016 to 2020, the next one, volunteers and research therapy, that means there are articles on that website that have been published as early as 2016. As a librarian, I don't go back further than 5 years. I want to know what is the newest, most current information that people are finding is working out. So I go to the recommended reading list and you think, well, what do I read? Well, we read website information for sure, but you also read books and articles. And I wanted you, notes are always going to be the source. Both the book and the blog article were recommended by CJ Holliday and it gives his website. If you haven't been to his website, second only to ours, make sure you go to his. If you'll scroll up, please, to books, right there, stop. Detox your thoughts, quit negative self-talk for good, and discover the life you've always wanted. This is a 2020 book that CJ is recommending, and I found it by going to the article, How to Handle Unhelpful Thoughts. This was written by a master's level, I think she was a social worker, in a blog called psychcentral.com. Right now, we have at least 7 places to go after this meeting to look at and say, oh, I might want to buy that book, or I might want to read that article. Will you keep going, please? Scroll down again. So research, a whole big area.
Yeah.
Here was the pyrenzapine that was first found by either Terry or Bruce. Note, comment by Michael Foxworth regarding the study. People said, well, it's 2017, maybe it's too old. So what did Mike say? He said phase 2 trials to slow PN are ongoing now. Results due this December. How exciting. Maybe they're actually going to publish something of what they found over the last 3 years. We wouldn't have known about that if Bruce and Terry wouldn't have alerted us by email. Keep going, please. Public forums. This is NeuroTalk. And they also have a thread on pyrenzapine and PN with even more links. If you are very, very interested in this as a possible new drug for pain, you might want to click on each one of them and investigate them. If you'll scroll some more, media, YouTube. Here's another one I found just in our emails. New rule, the quarantine 15. Bruce found this. He said, all of us look at this video. It's on YouTube. Click and watch. Facebook.com, again, on your feet. Amazing new webpage that we're running. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to again share information. Terry Orlando has been particularly active. You do have to be vetted to join, but it's simply as answering a few questions like, do you have peripheral neuropathy? Are you the patient or the caregiver? And you are allowed to post on the website. The other one is the Foundation for Peripheral Neuropathy has a Facebook page, and Peripheral Neuropathy Success Stories is a Facebook page. That's the one written by Michael Wright when he got tired of everybody complaining about their problems and said, I'm going to start a Facebook page where you can share success.
It's darn good.
What was that, Bruce?
It's a darn good site.
It is
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
a
Exactly.
great guy.
So this is my interest in trying to pull these things together so that after I look at today's notes, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, we have to put up AARP's website so people know who their publicity person is or something. You know, follow through on the notes. I don't know how many people take the time to either one, look at the recording of the video of the meeting, or two, look at the notes, which took Dave Matz, congratulations and thank you to him, a lot of time to put together for our August note-taking added with Steve and Bruce's comments. It's a really good synopsis of what we talked about. But this would be a faster, easier way, I hope, of finding some of the information. And I'm going to stop talking and let you talk.
Can I make a comment?
Please say your name.
Mike Foxworth.
Okay.
He's new.
He's new.
We can't see your face, so we want to know who's talking.
I just want to comment about success stories. The
Yeah.
success story is what you're looking at right now. In 2018, we had Steve and I, and we were doing all the work. If you were to open this up, if you were to take off the screen share and look around the 25 or so, 20, I don't know how many there are, you would look out and you'd look, and there is at least a half dozen people who have stepped up. This is a not small change. This is a substantive increase in activity, and it's very important. This is not the solution. This is not nirvana, but this is progress. I have been able to pull my time away from constantly doing the kinds of things that Steve and I were doing all the time. I'm not maintaining the website very much. I haven't touched it in about 2 months. I have focused my efforts on something that I think I probably more useful, in my opinion, which is to write a document kind of summarizing what I think I understand about PN. Why was that possible? That was only possible because the other people here stepped up. This is a success story. It's not the end, but a clear sign of progress.
Thank you, Mike. Other comments? Helene?
Yeah, question about joining this support group. What is specifically the website to go to find the join link?
Can you put that up again, Judd, please?
Yes.
Our website? And we will obviously be posting this. It's DCPN. Can you enlarge it at all? Or
No, DCPNsupport.org.
DCPN
support
one word?
.org, yes.
Just one word.
Maybe if you went to the homepage, I don't know. Oh, that is the homepage,
No,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the-
Okay.
I'll find it.
Well, clearly we need to make that larger so we can see it. And it was larger because we changed it. Remember, Judd, just when we said you are not alone? Can
Yeah.
we show that that part of the page?
It's bigger now.
Can I ask a question? Have we integrated the contents and the details from the old website now into the new website? Or there's still things that are just in the old website that we have to look for, like, you know, the summary of prior speakers and things?
I don't think there's anything meaningful or up to date on the old site that didn't get carried over. But we have, just in case, under the About, we have a page down here called Details. You go to
You're
the
not
details
showing
page.
the page.
No.
Oh, huh?
You're not
No.
showing the page, Judd.
Oh, sorry.
Scroll up.
I thought I was.
Can you scroll up?
Yeah, I'm at the top of the page.
Mm-mm.
No.
not our page.
Okay, let me get away from that.
If you go to the service and resource directory page, we can get it there.
This?
Nope.
You're not
still
getting
not
it?
there.
Okay.
I think you're in the editor, not the display.
There you go.
Oh, is this
Oh,
better?
that's
This
good.
is better.
Oh,
Oh,
If you-
yeah.
Yeah, see, this is the actual opening to dcpnsupport.org. And now he's going to show you in about, he's answering Steve's question. Here's our founder story, our vision and mission statement, how you can contact us, frequently asked questions, and keep going. What were you answering?
details on the bottom, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
details at the bottom.
Going to
It says-
details. Whoops. There's a details page, and this goes to the old site, but the old site is rapidly disappearing. So what we're going to do is, we've already done it. Michael's taken down, created an HTML page of the details page on the old site, which Steve likes, and then we're going to put it here, and it'll live here forever. So
That'll be more
Okay.
history and past presentations
Okay.
that we've done.
just in case there's some, you know, April 2015 that presentation you didn't get or something, we'll be able to go back there and look up names and addresses and things.
Because
Okay,
sometimes people send us emails like, I'm looking for information about an overview of treatments or a psychological approach. And it brings to mind, you know, excellent presentations that we've had in the past that are still very useful.
Yeah, they're here.
Have access to
Can you
those.
go to resources, please, Judd?
This is on resources.
Then presentations under it,
Oh,
and then presentations on falling.
right.
For
right.
example,
Okay.
here are the presentations that we've had, like by the acupuncturist and by Bill Reddy. There you go. There is so much on this site. Almost our entire history of our meetings is here.
Right.
You just have to play with the drop-down menus at the top to see what
Okay.
is actually there. Mike's blog will be his article probably on pain that he's working on. Right now,
Oh,
it's not up, I guess, but that's all right.
it was, oh, interesting. Okay.
So what we're showing you, this is ongoing. This, again, like the resource directory and the footnotes information sheet, are things that we are working on constantly to try to keep us as up to date and abreast of developments that we can. Yes.
Pat, I'd like to thank you and Judd a lot for all the work you put into this. It's a great idea, but with all due respect to Brenda's idea of having concrete results at the end, it's 3:20 and I would like to talk to some of the members about some of the things they said before we run out of time.
Sure.
With all due respect, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, I understand. This was just an intro.
yeah, well, we've got a good idea of it now.
Okay.
So can we take that down and talk to each other? And I'd like to say something. Yes, I'd like to address some of the issues brought up by members. I may not get your name right, but whoever it was will know what I'm talking about. I think Helene brought up the idea of medical marijuana. Now, CJ Holiday had a speaker on it. He had a speaker where they had a pharmacist, a neurologist, and a clinician speak about their brand. They have a brand that they put out. It's true. They're trying to sell us their brand. But I was very impressed on their CBD presentation. They answered all my questions very clearly. They didn't equivocate. And they talked about costs. When I asked, no problem. So check with CJ's site on the best in CBD medicine. Be careful because, you know, there's hemp and there's marijuana and there's who knows what and where there's made. You want to make sure you have high quality. On Bob's points, I think he's right. It'd be great if we could have a weekly session. It's great because we love to socialize and it's as good as any medicine we take. Now look, Bob, what we're doing here to do a monthly session. who's going to do the work for a weekly session?
Right.
My God, Bob, unless you're a computer genius and have 60 hours a week to work on it, we can't do this weekly. I wouldn't ask anybody. You're going to have to join some other groups like CJ and other people who will talk to you, and you can socialize. The other thing is about
Bruce, pulling together the meeting, sending out an invitation to say we're going to have a meeting at a certain time. Once you have the MailChimp or
okay,
whatever.
I don't want to talk details now, Dave. I want to make. I don't want to talk details about how to run a meeting. I really don't.
No, you're saying it's
Excuse
difficult.
me. Difficult for taking notes. Excuse me. Could I talk to back to the people who were asking questions? I don't need to know about MailChimp. Right now, I want to talk to Bob, who was asking about, I think, there was something else. Oh, rats. Anyway, there was some, oh, thanks for interrupting me, Dave. Yeah, Diana.
Much love and evidence here.
There was good things. I wanted to add something that would help them.
It was about socializing and
Yeah,
signs and symptoms and balance were things that Bob mentioned.
Well, I think that what Dave was trying to tell Bruce, if anybody's interested in weekly meetings, find a way that we can relate to those people to see who would want to do it. Can you make that possible?
This is Mike, and yes, it's quite possible. We own a Zoom. We can set up a meeting that just starts basically automatically, and people can join at such a time.
Why don't you send that to all of us so we can decide who wants to do it or not, instead of talking to everybody, let everybody decide independently on their own and leave it at that and see what happens.
The only issue is he had, Mike, where somebody has to do
Send out the invitation, and this guy for the weekly meetings probably send it to him, and it's very easy to get on Zoom and talk to people. We do it all the
It's
time.
easy to get on, but who's going to host it, Peter?
We just talk to each other. We don't need no guidance. Get the people on there and just take it as it comes. Don't make a big deal of it.
On there? Who's going to take the job of getting them on there? You need.
I don't know. You get however you get in here. You click on a site and you get it automatically. All you gotta do is click on the site where it's coming from, and there you are.
Yeah.
Not quite that easy.
Okay.
We have a small group who does
all of these things.
Who does a happy hour on Fridays? No big deal.
Things Peter's talking about.
So it's a little bit of work.
Dealt with. There are issues involved. They can be dealt with like many other things if we go about it. We have a really long list of to-dos. There is a specific issue that Dave, I think Dave said, somebody has to start it. Somebody has to be host. The person who started doesn't necessarily have to stay on as host, but somebody has to start it. We can set it up so people can join automatically, but there's still, like I said, there are issues that you have to deal with, but that doesn't mean there are issues that we can't deal with. It's just one.
Okay, getting back to Bob, I remember now, thank you for the time to collect my thoughts. On balance issues, as Dave was, I think it was said, there are three ways you get your balance to work. One is what you feel in your feet when you're standing. One is what you learn between your ears, not your brain, but your auditory system. The balance is in your ears. And the third is your eyes. When you have peripheral neuropathy, it almost always starts in the bottom of your feet with numbness. As the numbness gets worse, your balance is going to get worse because you're losing one of the three legs of your stool. So you're going to have to depend more on your eyes and more on what you can get out of your auditory system. You're actually going to have to look at your feet to know where they are. If you want to step forward, especially if you want to step back, you have to know where your foot's going. And the only way you're going to know sometimes is to look at it when you're doing it. Take it from somebody who knows. I've had this for 20 years. I've gone through as much as anybody. I've been to Johns Hopkins several times. I've been to NIH. I've been to dozens of doctors, taken a dozen EMGs, tried dozens of medicines. And they're not going. By the way, one of the ladies was talking nice about regenerating nerve cells. I've never read anything or talked to anybody in neuropathy and neurology who's ever heard in the ability of nerve cells to regenerate. The best we can hope for is that our bodies are smart enough, like Dave can tell you, if you have a heart problem, and I have this too, sometimes if you're lucky, your heart, the aorta or the artery is able to find a network of small arteries and bypass the problem where the occlusion is. Maybe for neuropathy, we'll someday know about satellite networks of nerve cells, but not yet. And there's one last thing. Darn.
While Bruce is thinking, may I just,
Sure.
my name is pronounced Helene,
Sorry.
not Helene, so I just thought
Thank you, Helene.
I would bring that up. Thank you.
Oh, you know, the problem is why I don't care about this program very much is because you're right. The only thing that's going to work when you can replace nerve cells. So nothing you're going to tell me is making any difference. Until that happens, we're going to be blanked up. So that,
No,
forget it.
that's
I'm so
very
damn
true.
impatient with you people because I know the only answer is when you start regenerating nerve cells, and that's what's going to happen. Until then, you have to put up with it.
But you have to
I
learn
hate
how to
it.
put up, but you have to learn how to put up with it the best way. One
Hell
of the
with
things
your
one of the
good
things-
thoughts. I'm
one of-
angry.
One of the
Peter's-
things I wanted you to discuss.
Peter's always
today-
angry. Every meeting he's getting a rage. Let him talk.
You don't show any emotions. You're also polite and courteous and think. I know I'd go to so much pain more than I can imagine, and you're so nice. I would raise hell if I had the pain some of you have. I would jump up and down, fight, but that won't help anything. So you're going to be calm and polite and say, "Well, just hang in there. We'll try to help each other." Good luck.
No, I think I know for myself, I jump up and down a lot and it hurts when I do that.
Yeah.
And I carry on a lot. It is frustrating. The pain is unimaginable and it's not fair. I have it in my hands now and it's unbelievable. But, you know, until they come up with something, we're all stuck in this boat, and there are things that people have learned that might make it a little easier. And I think and just being here to support each other. For me, that was something newfound a couple of months ago, and it's really made a difference to me to know that the rest of you are out there, and I'm not alone, because I felt very alone with this. So yes, the pain is unimaginable, frustrating, rage-provoking. I understand completely.
I have something new to add for my situation. I just went to an ENT with ear pain. The tops of my ears burn 24/7, as bad as my feet burn. And I've really never heard of anybody who's had that problem. And he said he actually has, because there are nerves in your ear, your outer ear, and in your internal ear. And he's actually thinking that my peripheral neuropathy is my problem. I don't have TMJ, and that the pain in both externally and internally is due to the peripheral neuropathy. And he's the first person to suggest that. I can hardly wear my hearing aids, my mask, and my glasses and stand the pain from it. So I tend not to wear the hearing aids, which is foolish because that's the whole point of being able to hear them. So I understand what you're saying about the pain. He said you could actually surgically cut the nerves on the top of your ear and induce numbness. And he said, but I wouldn't recommend it. So I just heard this week and I'm like blown away, like, okay, I've heard of hands and I've heard of feet, but I haven't heard of ears. So.
You're unique. You're a unicorn.
Can I follow up on this pain business?
Go ahead, Mike.
I have a new thing. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm considering getting a shoulder replacement. Here's my problem. My problem is I use my left hand and arm all the time as a touching mechanism to to touch things to make sure I retain my balance, because my balance is horrible. And so the issue now is I'm going to get I have requested and have been granted a referral to get an occupational therapist to come and see if we can figure out a way for me to survive the 6 to 8 week period while my shoulder recovers. If there's no way for me to avoid falling during those 6 to 8 weeks and still retain my ability to exercise during that period, then I'm afraid the shoulder replacement is out. And so right now I'm in the process of getting ready to go through the process of getting an OT evaluation to see whether it's possible for me to get a shoulder replacement. This is the kind of thing that, you know, if I didn't have peripheral neuropathy, getting the shoulder replacement would be an automatic decision. And yeah, Peter, I hear you, and I appreciate the fact, something I didn't appreciate the first time I heard you, which is that you put voice to things that the rest of us are too polite to do.
Peter, I totally get you too. And I think the way to do something is through this foundation and through awareness. And that's why I think that if we all can get more awareness, unfortunately, I've heard that Eric Clapton and Don Brokoff have neuropathy, but neither one are willing to be a spokesman for our group, and we don't have a celeb. But I really think that the mobilizing everybody who has it as much as we can to like maybe get on AARP to do an article in their magazine, you know, that reaches, I don't know how many people, but
really
lots.
Yeah, 20 million probably.
We need a Michael J. Fox or a Christopher Reeves to put us out there for the public can see us.
I think Bob had his hand up. Bob, you have to unmute. Unmute.
You're muted, Bob.
Judd, can you unmute him?
No.
No,
Oh, God.
he doesn't understand.
Bob, at the bottom of your screen, there should be a microphone and you can hit it. It's got like a slashy.
Click on the microphone, unmute.
Bottom left.
Bottom left.
Bottom left. Can you unmute everybody for a moment? Judge?
Dave may be able to, I'm not.
I can't unmute Bob.
That's weird.
I'm clicking on.
Can you go to
on his-
participants and unmute him?
Yeah, I'm in there now.
Okay.
I'm in there now, and I cannot unmute him as I click on his.
I don't
muted.
think he understands that he's not being heard.
No.
All right.
It's the very nature of Zoom that I can't make somebody be heard. In other words,
I think he
I-
unmuted
I
temporarily.
cannot unmute you. I can shut you down, but I can't unmute you. You have to choose to be heard.
Right. Rebecca is saying unmute everybody for a
Bob
moment.
is ready now.
Now mute everybody else. Go ahead. Bob.
I'm heard now.
Oh, we've got you, Bob.
Somehow my mute got clicked down there, and I don't know how. I just want to offer what we're going through right now, in my mind, makes an argument for weekly meetings. Monthly meetings requires whoever's moderating or taking care of it to go through, gee, what are we going to have for this month's agenda to draw people? What's going to be here of interest to get people to come? So you got to go through all that to set up. If we just get together on a thing like this, look how much participation people are popping in, you know, and talking about doing this and talking about doing that. And I haven't been to the group meetings in person, you know, for about a year and a half. But in my mind, this is a heck of a lot easier for participation and a heck of a lot more informative than sitting around in a circle trying to talk that way. And it seems to me that weekly meetings would require less effort on the part of the moderators in putting something together, because you wouldn't have to put something together.
Right.
So that's my thought for
What about if we just said a Friday happy hour is always a possibility? And how many of you have Zoom accounts? I mean, I have a Zoom account Raise your hand if you have your own Zoom account.
Well, I have.
So
I
if you
think-
have your own Zoom account and you're interested in this idea, you can set up a Zoom meeting for, a week from yesterday, or so. This is an idea. I think if you do it on a regular day, anyone can join if they want to come to the Friday happy hour. That's all. And just try it and see who shows up. And I think you're right. I don't think you need a lot of preparation.
Judy, you got something to say?
Yeah, I don't know about the, well, the basic thing is that when we met in person, if someone said something interesting, we wanted a question, we could talk after the meeting. Is it a possibility for those who are willing to have their email addresses on the website? For example, I would like to have a way of asking Brenda about the dry brushing. I'm very interested in what she has to say about it.
Let me address that specific question. There are ways of configuring a website to support person-to-person communication without actually revealing your email. I don't think we have that configured right now on the website. It can be done.
We can talk after this meeting if we want to, right? Okay, Mike, if we want to continue this meeting afterwards, whoever wants to stick around can do that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she would need to know if she's willing that I would like to talk to her. There still needs to be that communication.
Well, it's sort of, that was our idea with the form where you would write a comment to Brenda, and if she wanted to talk to you, she would reply. If she didn't want to get involved with it, then you would just get...
If she published that on the form, but at this point, she hasn't done it, it doesn't exist.
Well, we're working hard to get it up.
Right, I got that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
She may not.
Are you on the Facebook page?
If you chat, if you just chat.
Or you can add it to the chat. You could write right now to Brenda and say, could we talk afterwards about dry brushing? Or can you give me your email so we can talk about dry brushing?
Okay, and what is the Facebook page?
Well, On Your Feet.
It's called On Your Feet. You go to facebook.com and search On Your Feet. It will take you there and it will say you have to be accepted to the group. It's very easy. You just answer a couple questions and you're allowed in. It's just a security thing so you don't get crazy people.
You can type right now if you wanted to, can't you? There's a thing right down here where you can talk and leave a message right now if you want to.
That's right. She can write it on chat right now, and you
21 people are in the chat. So.
You don't have to do it to everyone. You just do private message to Brenda Cheadle if you know her name, and it's right there on the box.
Show her where to point. Is it the red speaker in the bottom or the red something at the bottom of our screen?
Now there's the cloud that says chat, which I just clicked on.
Yeah.
It. I'm trying to pull up.
Okay, did you click on chat?
Yes, I'm working there.
Great.
Just scroll through the names.
And then it says
Type message here.
Yeah, I got it.
And you can talk to everybody in the group, or you can talk to one person in the group. It's up to you.
Yeah, there's
whoever's online.
There's a little drop down that you can specify the person you want to send a message to.
I just
so where it says Dave Matz right now, use the drop down and find Brenda's name.
I did all that. Thank you.
Okay,
I just
great. Everybody learned something.
Oh, yeah.
I have one last thing to add, please. I know I've spoken too much today.
No.
I wanted to address the person who was interested, who had a place to get orthopedic stuff to help you walk. You know, I have a brace around my calves, 2 Velcro straps around my calves, and they're custom made. They fit around my foot, and I have to wear them all the time just to stand up. And I got them from a company also in Northern Virginia, here near Fairfax. It's called Hanger, Hanger, and it's at the near the corner of Beauregard and Duke Streets. I think it's Old Town or Annandale. it's pretty good. You have to get a doctor's script because it's all paid for by insurance. Your neurologist writes a script. You make an appointment at Hanger. You go there, you give the receptionist a script, and the technician brings you in. They make molds of your legs and your feet. And then a couple of weeks later, you go back and you're fitted with a beautiful set of braces that keep you steady when you stand up. They've improved my balance to the point before when I used them before. Well, so anyway, it helps. It helps a lot. I can't walk now, but they helped a lot in my walking in previous years.
Let me point out, this is a good example of something you could go search for on the website. Look up the word braces. You're going to find a pretty extensive treatment of pros and cons and stuff about braces on the site.
Let's make clear, Mike, not the site, our site, dcpnsupport.org. Mike has put an incredible amount of work into that website, so please use it. Explore.
Pat, can I mention one thing?
Yes, Steve.
In the chat, Brenda is asking, how do we find the CJ Holiday contact? I always send that out to the whole group, and after this meeting today, I'll send out to everyone the latest email from CJ. He sends out an email usually the Thursday or Friday before his Monday session.
It's in the chat, isn't it? Look.
Is it already in the chat?
Lou
We put it in the chat. We put it in the chat before. I don't know.
No, that's for September, but it may.
Well, I'll send you out the latest one because each email that he sends out.
Monday is on immunotherapy, and I'd love to go, but I have something else.
Yeah, each email is a little bit different, right? Two sessions. The first session is general discussion like we're having, and then he'll have speakers in the second session. And there's space between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m.
I think we should take a leaf out of
communicate with his email. You can get into the group. So I'll send that out to everybody.
Thank you.
I think we should take a leaf out of CJ's thing. I think we should consider having 2 meetings a month, or maybe not every month have 2 meetings, but have meetings, business meetings, so we can address what Brenda was talking about. That is a tight agenda. We don't spend a lot of time talking about other things. We try to stick to an agenda, and then have a meeting like we have today, which is a little bit more loose in terms of what its content is.
That would really work. You know, I'm in a garden club which it's always had a monthly meeting with speakers and votes, but then we found out we weren't talking with each other that much. So now we have a monthly meeting, business meeting, and a monthly meeting, which is, we just call in the garden, and it's just chatting about whatever we're interested in. And that's really enhanced our experience. So if we don't want to do a Friday happy hour, maybe, you know, at least one extra meeting a month where people can just chat.
Right. By the way, CJ Holiday site, Lou Mazaway just put it up. It's on the chat, www.peripheralneuropathyresources.com.
Thank you.
Or it's cjholiday@gmail.com.
And he's got a meeting 2 days from now, is the September meeting.
He's meeting this Monday.
At 4 o'clock and at 7 o'clock.
And the speaker on immunotherapy is the 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
The earlier.
It's always the second Monday of the month, right?
Right.
Earlier part is always the open discussion.
Pat, do you want to speak about your podiatrist in October? Is that?
Okay. We've had different responses. I think it's interesting. Some people say to me, "Oh, I'm not going to attend the meeting because there's no speaker." Or somebody else says to me, "Oh, good, there's no speaker. I'm going to come because I want to talk." So, you know, we try to balance whether a speaker is helpful, like the acupuncturist, who I thought was great, or the toolbox idea from the Caregivers Network. I thought that was useful. So Steve keeps trying to help figure out other speakers that we might be interested in having. He suggested, did anyone know a podiatrist? It turns out that Judd and I both like our podiatrists, and that will probably be our October speaker, one or the other of them, depending on the date One is a mother doing some homeschooling, so I'm not sure she's going to be it. It may be ending in the end, Judd's. But the date, Steve, please, if you will remind us, do you know?
Well, if we stick to the schedule, usually
I don't know, you need to reset something?
it would be October
No,
3rd.
thank you. We don't want to-
October 3rd is the first Saturday of.
I'll
October.
take one set. If I go keep them, I'll give them to somebody
What?
else.
Who's talking?
Somebody's talking over you.
Okay, October 3rd would be the date.
Please mute yourselves, folks. Okay, again, Steve, October 3rd?
October 3rd is the first Saturday of October. It's
Okay.
also my birthday. So.
Happy birthday.
Any objection to us trying to have a podiatrist speaker at the October 3rd meeting?
Sounds good.
Others who would rather not have a speaker and just have it open? Okay, maybe we'll be ready to try CJ's model and have 2 meetings that day. 2 to 3 be the open and 3 to 4 be the presentation or something like that.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. We often did that before when we met in person.
Right.
Depending on how many people we had, if we only had 10 or 15, we'd let everybody talk for the first 45 minutes and then we'd have the presentation. So we can do that.
I go back to what Brenda said. We need an agenda. We need to say, this is the question. Do we do this? Or if we have to think about it more, can we get some people to go offline and think about it and come back with recommendations? We have many more volunteers now than we did, but we're not organized well enough, and we have to make decisions in a systematic way. And if I were close to Brenda, I would get behind her and push her a little bit to use.
Well, I'm going to ask Brenda to help me with the footnotes news bulletin because you seem to be very informed and up to the minute, and that's what we need. I would love to ask someone else to help Terry compile the resource directory. I see that as the 2 things that are left undecided from this meeting, at least.
Check the chat room. I thought Diane offered on the directory, didn't she?
Diane? It's hard to take notes and also remember who
Yeah.
said what when. Is Diane available? Who is
Let's
Diane
see.
Lowitz?
I thought of Diane said she was be willing to help.
There, Diane?
Yes, unmute.
When you say
Yeah, Diane Schmidt, I would be willing to help out with compiling. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She was going to compile information on coping strategies. So that
It was the other Diana.
was the other Diana. Yeah. Or Diane Mowitz. Well,
It was Diana, not me.
Okay, I think what we'll do is go through the notes and contact them directly and just say, are you willing to do? And again, as Brenda suggested, or Steve, or somebody, Mike, that we be more specific. Will you please be the respondent to or the receiver of this form from the website that's going to come in with providers' names and equipment name and medication names and help us compile it. That's basically what we're looking for. Someone who will help us sort through. I hope we're going to get lots of submissions once the form goes on the website.
when do you think that'll be? Within a couple of weeks before the next meeting? Or
Judd, what do you think? We were waiting today to see what the response was and if people liked it well enough to spend the time to do it.
everybody seems to like it. So, huh?
We can make it a priority for sure.
Yeah.
Can we have a show of hands? How many people are willing to provide the provider name, location, address, etc., of people that you've worked with?
I'll put up both hands.
Okay, that's not an overwhelming response.
Well,
So how do I read that? We should have,
my provider is the VA, so there's nothing there that I can offer to you that you can access.
I see. But we're talking about medications as well, Bob.
My provider knows much less about peripheral neuropathy than anyone here, which is why I don't bother spending my money.
Okay, I should have said.
Thank you, Brenda. We needed
On the chat, I put a website for some folks I went to see last week. They gave an assessment on my peripheral neuropathy and my wife's as well. And they have this comprehensive program, which is very expensive. So I've been thinking about maybe trying it, but I'll have to want to check into it. But I could see maybe they would be willing to come and present that at one of the meetings as well. But if you go to their website, they've got a lot of resources there that you can look at.
What do they charge for their program?
They sell an expensive program. They'll be happy to talk to us.
Yeah.
Right. Rodney, do you want to share the name of the contact?
Sure. But like I say, I put their website on the chat thing.
Okay, good.
Let
As
me
long as
see.
it's on chat, good. Judy,
I gotta
your
find
turn.
it.
I think your question should be, how many people would be willing to provide it if they had one they thought was worthwhile providing? That's why I didn't raise my hand. I would be willing, but I need something good first.
Well, I was hoping that people who saw an acupuncturist or a gastroenterologist think outside the box. It's like my ear, nose, and throat person. I wouldn't necessarily have thought to put that on there, but here he is linking it to my peripheral neuropathy. Or if you have the assistive driving technology, who did you buy it? Who did you buy it from? If you had a wheelchair, who did you buy it from? If you are using gabapentin or CBD oil.
But we need information on who's not good too. Now, it would be very helpful to me if you put the name of your doctor on and I said, oh, that's fairly close to me, maybe I'll check that out. And I called you up and you said, well,
Useless.
you might want to reconsider. Because when I first got diagnosed, two things happened. One, I found out about this group, and the group, I was so depressed, and it was so helpful to me to be among you, people like Bruce, who just brighten up my day, you know. And the other thing was, I heard from a lot of people who not to go to. It took me a long time to find anyone. I'm not so sure I would recommend the person I found, but I missed them. There were a lot of people I would have probably gone to, but I heard from people who said, you know, they didn't help. So I think both positive and negative experiences are useful to us.
We're just
You have
trying to
problems
be
with
careful of legal issues and defamation of character or whatever. I mean, we're not medical personnel. We can't, I don't know how to get around that. We've talked again, you know, about it being just giving the email so you could call, I mean, you could email Brenda.
Yeah, we would just talk on the phone, and you don't have to say the person's no good. You can say, well, here's what I was hoping for. Here's what happened. I didn't find it terribly useful.
Whoever was worried about the legal, would it be possible on our form to just put a plus sign or a negative sign next to the person's name, and then they could call the person? Everybody's shaking their head no. See, I don't know how to handle this.
What about if you put something in that said, people who are willing to share information about other doctors, both positive and negative or something, some general statement, and you'd be listed there and people could contact them if they wanted to. I mean, I'd be willing to.
As long as it's done
keep
over the
names of
phone.
people on, you know, offline.
As long as it's done over the phone, you really avoid most of the legal problems, because there's no formal record.
Susan, that's why we don't want it written on the website. We just want you to get the contact. If you're considering that provider, that you call that person and say, was your experience good or bad?
Right. I think part of the problem is that everyone with peripheral neuropathy seems to have their own unique version. And sometimes it's a simple matter of a doctor who might have helped person A, but couldn't help person B at all. For example, my neurosurgeon told me to take 100 milligrams of gabapentin 3 times a day. That did nothing. I was up walking in horrible pain night after night after night. Finally, my spine and pain person said to me, no, take all 300 milligrams right before you go to bed. And that has helped me like 85% of the time. So sometimes what helps one person, I know Bruce was saying he has to take much larger dosages of gabapentin for
I would, from what you said, you might want to ask your doctor whether either a larger dose or several 300 milligram doses a day would be even more effective for you. But those are the things, again, you have to ask your doctor whether that makes sense, because everybody's different.
See, I didn't really understand when we talked about medications and supplements as a category. Would Brenda Cheadle write on the form that she takes 900 milligrams of gabapentin with positive results? And then whoever's considering gabapentin could call Brenda and say, well, I'm only taking 300 or I'm taking 1200. Can you tell me what the difference was or why you went? You see what I mean? To get an interactive conversation going. The only thing we can do is put that medication on the website form and let you do the follow-up.
Right.
Judy, did you have a comment?
Well, my comment, if you're concerned about lawsuits, I wouldn't put on there, I'm taking 900 milligrams and it's helping me. That you're really opening yourself up.
Well,
if you want to say, if you want to discuss gabapentin, that's all.
Or if you want to discuss CBD oil.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Well, one caveat is that when you submit the database entry, it's private and it stays private. But if Judy were to call up Pat and say, what about this doctor, what's not? Tell me a little about what Max Dex said about that. And so then, she could convey that information, or that could still be a private conversation or a private email. Non-recorded of the conversation to me isn't the big problem. It's privacy. It's we're not in a position to critique medical staff. We're patients of various knowledge, various kinds of knowledge, and so I think most of this information is going to be by email anyway. So, but it is, we do have a way to editorialize that it's not public. I don't know how we want to handle that, but that's, in other words, you have 8 fields and what actually gets published is 3 fields, and the rest of it is private. We have all that information and it can be accessed.
Well, but you don't want to write anything down, even though it's not public, because if there were some issue and there were a lawsuit, it becomes public. In disclosure, you've got to show all of that information.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about defamatory things. I'm just talking about details that you wouldn't want to share with everyone. Or people, or dosages, for example, what Judy said about dosage. Not everybody wants to make their.
That's different.
Yeah.
Dave, if they put gabapentin on and you're still working and somehow your boss isn't happy with you and they say, well, you're taking gabapentin, no wonder you're not functioning well. I mean, can it be because it was put on the website, public to your employer?
It's not put on the website, right? Yeah, under medication.
The only way to find out is take it to court.
Oh, Lord.
You need a good lawyer.
And see what the judge says.
See, this is why we haven't done this yet, because we needed this discussion.
But I don't know if anybody's a lawyer here. I think I've asked my lawyer daughter something about this. And basically, you're safe as long as you don't defame people. Yeah. You can have an opinion. This is America. It's the First Amendment, but we're just not in a position to have an expert opinion, which is, to me, when you put it on the website, you're making it globally accessible. And there's some liability there, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with commenting on a doctor. I like this guy, he has a good bedside manner, but we're taking a very conservative approach when we're listing these. What we've been talking about is just listing basically contact information, and here's my name. If you'd like to talk about it, call me, write me.
I think this got started because Susan asked that she would like to know that it was a negative experience, but I don't think we can put that up.
No, I didn't mean, I said, I didn't mean put a negative experience on the form. I mean,
We'll put it on form, but not on the website, maybe.
no, I wouldn't even, you don't have to put it on the form or anywhere. But what I was saying is if people are not going to fill out the form because their experience was negative,
Right. That's
then
right.
it's a good idea to fill out the form and have that source on there. And then if someone calls you up,
I got you.
Tell them the nature of your experience, but that's good information. We don't have to put anything in writing on
That may
our
actually,
website.
but all that may actually be totally okay, because anybody has filled out from an Amazon form, they always ask you that, do you recommend this product? And lots of people say no.
No.
And I don't think that makes them legally obligated or legally liable for that comment.
Right.
Well, I just want to say it's after 4 o'clock now, so we probably ought to come to the end of our formal meeting, but we're still going to leave the website open. So anybody who wants to stay on and continue discussions like we're having here, just an open discussion up and back, feel free. I think what I may end up doing is going to the website and putting some things on that I didn't get a chance to discuss today, and see, just leave it some information, some which may actually be a little embarrassing anyway. So maybe something not to be discussed in public, but I can put on the website.
Well, remember, the form is not activated yet. We haven't launched it. So you can't write in that comment section yet until.
Oh, I thought we could. Okay.
No, it's not ready yet. Sorry. We were
Okay.
getting information today about what you thought was useful and what you would actually be willing to share. So it's coming up.
Bruce looks like he had his thumb in the camera.
All these people do and say, hey, is this provider 1 to 5 stars? Or raise the question, would you recommend this person to your friends or family? That's not saying anything other than what your opinion of the service was. You're not saying why, you're not defaming, all you're doing is giving a rating.
Okay. Anyone who wants to work on this, please let us know.
We'll ask, we'll go through the video and say, who talked about it? Let's find the video. I'm sorry, the volunteers.
Okay, so who's in charge of the recording here? That I can get a copy of it so I can do the notes.
I have part of it. I think Dave has part of it too.
Yeah.
Got interrupted.
Should I turn the recording off now?
Yes, after the
I'm
formal
going to turn the
meeting.
recording off now.
Formal
Turn the
meeting.
recording off, but we'll talk.
Yes.
You have to turn it off. You're recording to your own. I'm recording it right now. I think I've recorded about the last half of it.
Okay, well, if you get that to me, then I'll put some notes together from the meeting.
Yay,
Well,
a note taker.
Well, I like the idea of Rodney being the permanent note taker. I did take some notes. I took about 6 pages of notes. So I think I'm going to have to type them up, Rodney. You can't possibly read this.
And I took some too.
Well, you can
so-
get some good input sometimes. It helps. Anything helps. Here.
Okay.
Thank you for all of your comments, suggestions. Very helpful, very useful. We'll work on editing. and
Anybody else have anything specific that they might want to say?
Enjoy being with you all.
Brenda left us, but I just want to say that I think we should pat ourselves a little bit in the back, in the sense that we spent an awful lot of time actually addressing the main agenda item today.
Very good.
Good. Thank you all for coming today, and we'll see you either next month, or if somebody cares to start a weekly happy hour, we can do that too.
And if you had any problem, I guess you wouldn't know, but if you didn't get the invitation or you didn't get the reminder, please let us know, and/or check your trash.
Yeah, well, we usually send out 2 notifications. So if you got one and not the other one, let us know.
You know, I didn't think I got it, but it went into my junk mail.
Yeah.
That's an
That's
old
what we're
story.
finding.
Yeah,
That's a Gmail problem. Well,
that's right.
one of the things I would suggest is that you, instead of reading new mail, go to all mail. There are choices when you're reading your mail, and the all mail will at least give you a first pass at those things. You can still throw them in the junk easily, but it doesn't do the separations first.
Well, I would also suggest that if you can figure it out, you ought to whitelist the words DCPN. They always appear in any of our mailings, or if you want peripheral neuropathy, I suppose, but DCPN would be specific to this group.
When you
If
say whitelist, I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
What is that?
Well, you know what a blacklist is, right? It
Yeah.
throws it away. A whitelist means it considers it important and it keeps it. And with Gmail, you can teach it things, and other web package, mail packages. You can teach it, make a rule that says any mention of DCPN goes in this DCPN folder. And then you don't look in your inbox anymore, you go to that folder.
Yeah.
I can't tell you exactly how to do that right now, but it's possible in most email packages.
Yeah, just search make rule and it will help you find it.
Make rule, that's good, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
And
Maybe.
Rodney, you're gonna get the chat notes, Rodney?
Yeah, I'm going to copy those right now and put them with my file
Perfect.
and put them all together.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, Pat, let me ask you a question. I don't think you're the one who needs to do it, but if I wanted to start or wanted to try a Friday afternoon or whatever happy hour for just general open discussion, who do I need to send the invite to? Who can then send it out to the MailChimp list? Who's the one who's sending it? Is it Judson who's sending that out?
Yeah.
No, I'm questioning. I don't know.
Well, that's fine. I can send it out. I would like for someone else to vet it, make sure the dates are correct and all the information is right. I would like not to be responsible for the entire BIPI, but I'm happy to format it and send it out.
Okay, so for the moment at least, if we want to try to do something like that, send it to Mike for distribution.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very
Send it
much.
to Mike too, if you want. Yeah.
Mike Foxworth would give the Zoom, or no, they would use their personal Zoom. What do you think, Mike?
Well, just like this-
I've been at this since before noon. And I'm just kind of. What was the question? Sorry.
No,
If they want to have a happy hour meeting, can they just start it with their own private Zoom account? They don't need to involve us, right?
No.
If you have a link, and the link is set up, join before host, I think we can set it up so you only have to be a registered user. So only certain people can join. Then I think we can set it up so you can just get on and start talking.
Yeah, without a host.
Without a host, okay?
Okay.
You can't record it because you don't have a host, but you can talk. And if your name is Peter, you can talk in a very emotional way. But if you're not Peter, you can't do that. But, I'm sorry, I'm not making any sense.
I think Peter and Bruce will have private discussions.
I hope we can have a private meeting sometimes, because I feel more comfortable in private meetings where you don't have to embarrass other people and you tolerate people like me.
We need embarrassment, Peter. Embarrassment's really important to make the world go round.
Had your
It's
hand
been
up, Judy?
fun for you. It's been fun.
Judy, jump in.
Peter, if they tolerate me, they can tolerate you.
If somebody does it from their private accounts, and it's a group, it has to be limited to 45 minutes.
That's right.
But you can then.
Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a good idea. My son invites us to talk with the grandchildren, and it's a 40-minute limit. They are so happy. Not the kids, but the parents are so happy when the 40 minutes is over.
But I was told that for some reason, probably because of the COVID issues, they now allow that to slip by and you just keep operating. So
Yeah,
it
they
doesn't-
just
doesn't-
automatically restarted. See?
Yeah, but you can always, as soon as it goes off, you can always, restart everybody, sign back on again, and away you go. It's not really as big a deal. The big problem is we don't have access to the distribution list, to the MailChimp list. And the reason is for privacy reasons. And that Mike and Judson have access to that. And so to be able to send out to everybody in this group, we need to go through them to send it out. And the problem is, it's an extra job for them, but we don't want to make that distribution list publicly available to the group.
Well,
I don't think that's a big problem. If you wanted to have private one-on-ones, yes, but the whole point of what we were talking about today was to make it possible for people to communicate using the website, to communicate to each other without necessarily sharing that kind of information.
Yeah.
So you can arrange something offline to do something like that. So again, we'll make progress over time with these issues. We have made progress on some issues. We just keep bringing them up. If they're important, they'll rise up on the to-do list.
And if we can get Bruce to do anything other than just complain at these meetings, then we could probably get really great progress.
Good.
Good luck.
I like Bruce.
Good luck.
Yeah.
If we had a meeting, if we had a happy hour 4 to 6 on Friday afternoons, we could easily set up a Zoom session and we don't even have to send out invitations, really. It's just, it's going to be there and there's your coordinates. So go for it.
Yeah, it's just a question of needing the coordinates in the site.
Yeah.
So you need the link to click on.
I think we can set up a registered user list so we don't have to worry so much about passwords and all that.
Good.
Oh yeah, my wife signs on or initiates a weekly meeting like that with a group we have for Friday afternoon happy hours. And it's just a question of every Wednesday or Thursday she sends out an invitation so that the link is known, even if it's the same link, because there's a problem if you try to set up for a certain time and then it's at a different time where the meeting already was held last week that the time was written on. There's some issues with Zoom. It's not perfect yet, and it's not totally flexible, but you can do most things with it. It's great.
It's not like me. I mean, not everybody can be perfect like me.
Not everybody could have bought Zoom stock like me last March. That was double and triple.
I bought it last January.
Oh,
Wow, that's really smart.
Bruce
You
is
are
buying.
rich. I hope you put a lot of money into it then.
So Bruce is buying at the first happy hour. Bruce is sending drinks.
Yeah. Yep, I'll pay for the first round. I'm ordering the first round. Everybody bring their own drinks.
Yeah, we can do that.
Are you
I
still
hope that
recording?
day returns sooner rather than later. I'll tell you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Judy, I'm sending that to you now.
Thank you.
I had to find it.
Nice talking to you all today.
Take care, Bruce.
Yeah, you too, Mike. Hang in there.
Max, we didn't say a word today, Max. Can you say hello?
Oh, I've been in the hospital recently, and I'm just kind of recovering. I had some digestive problems that have been worked on. I think I'm going to have my gallbladder out this end. But that's not serious at all. And I like to take a moment to thank everybody who is working so hard. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people there. I know you're all working hard to make this work, and I haven't done a thing. But I'm down here in Harrisonburg, Virginia now, in the retirement community. If anybody's thinking about retirement, this is a great community. It's run by the Mennonite people. And it's
Hey, Max, do we need to come out here and help you unpack?
Yeah, Daniel's for everybody. Yeah.
I have completely unpacked.
That's just your pain medication behind you.
Yeah.
Max, what's the name of the community, please?
I'm sorry?
Name of your community?
It's Virginia Mennonite Retirement Community
Thank you. And it's in Harrisonburg?
in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
it's really, really run well. And it's not all Mennonite. I'm Methodist, for instance. And so it's about 20% Mennonite. But they're good people and they take really good care of us. I think we've had, as far as I know, of the residents, we've had no
COVID.
But now we have had some among the staff.
Oh,
But, you know, they go home and everything, but they keep a tight control on us. You know, we're really kept under sort of lock and key. Not quite that bad. But right now, for instance, I'm under quarantine because I went to the emergency room. And once you go there, you're a suspect.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm under 14-day quarantine. I got about 10 days to go. And I better stay in my apartment.
I always thought you were kind of suspicious, Max.
Say again?
I always thought you were kind of suspicious. You know,
Oh,
in
yeah.
quarantine, you know.
I am. I like it that way. No, but no, really, everybody really seems to be working hard to get this thing going. And I can see where it's difficult, and there are legal questions you're trying to work through. Now, I don't know about you, but I get surveys all the time from medical people, my doctors. And every doctor down here that you go to, within a few days, you'll get a survey.
True.
And they ask you right out, you know, what do you like from 1 to 10? And would you recommend this to your friends and relatives? You know, from 1 to 10. And then give some detail. So they don't mind getting detail. Now, I don't know how visible that is to the public.
Well,
You know?
heck, look at Yelp. People put stuff on Yelp all the time. Home Advisor. Didn't
But
like my landscaper.
Is let people put down who they go to, and then if people are interested, go let them call them and ask. You know, would you go there? Heck no. Or yeah. Well, you know, the big thing that I've noticed, I've been in the group for over 10 years now, and I'm disappointed, to be honest with you. I have not been helped. That's a straight out statement, but I'm still coming to the meetings of eternally looking for an answer.
You're an optimist.
I think though that there may not be one. Because
that is the answer, Max. That really is the answer. The answer is that there is no there's no magic bullet out there, and you're here because you've developed some personal relationships with the other faces that you've met. They know you, and we feel like we're known by you. That's a binding together that makes life a little bit easier to take.
Absolutely.
Here, here.
Yeah, once this COVID thing is over, which I hope is soon, and when I get better, I hope to make some announcements in the place down here that maybe we want to get together and talk about it. Because this population down here averages about 80.
Wow.
I'm 87 myself, and we've got people in their 90s. You know, 94, 95. And so I think, no doubt, a lot of those people have peripheral neuropathy. You know, but it's interesting, there's very little discussion about it. I mean, but again, I have not had a chance to meet many people because I got down here in March. And of course, pretty soon right after that, we had the lockdown. So we can't even walk up and down the halls here and talk to people unless we have a specific place to go. And then you have to wear a mask And it's pretty tight controls. But I applaud them. They're doing their best to keep us away from that nasty bug.
Maybe this time next year you can go to take a course at JMU. It's a great university.
Take a course at JMU? You say, no, I'm not going back to school. I finished my school way back in 1956.
How's your daughter doing?
Huh?
How's your daughter doing? Your nurse.
She's great. She's great. She's my caregiver down here, you know. She's a nurse, registered nurse, and she worked with the COVID problem. She was a person who would call people who were known to have come down with it and were home, and she would call them because she works for Centera Hospital with the idea of making sure they were taking care of themselves properly and getting back to the emergency room if necessary. So she's an advisor. She's a nurse that's got like 30 years experience, so she's got a lot of things that she can help people with.
Would she be willing to join us on a meeting someday?
Yeah, that's right. She could be a great speaker.
I could ask her.
Do that.
But, you know, the thing is, again, I don't personally, I love the meeting, but I don't personally see any help from me. Do any of you?
Well, we edit everything we say, so it won't be any help to you, Max. You know, we exclude anything that we thought might be helpful for you.
Well, you know, no, Max, some of us really know you, as Mike mentioned, and so we have a relationship that we have over, 10 years or more. And I particularly know that some of us, when we had our get together at my house in July, that we really had a really great time, and we have some photographs. I hope that you have them on your site that we really enjoyed. So we're going to have a personal contact, and I agree with you. I don't see any future where I'm going to be cured, but it's just enough to be able to communicate to you and others like us that have the same situation.
Yeah, I think we all do, and of course the pity of it, there's probably a lot of people out there in the world who don't know about the organization. You know,
I've got an awful lot out of this group personally. There are things I've learned, for instance, the hand controls. I would have been clueless about hand controls. There are a lot of other stuff that I've learned. It didn't necessarily relate directly to the disease called peripheral neuropathy, but it related to living your life with peripheral neuropathy. Bruce talks about that fairly often.
I agree 100%. I'm under the care of a neurologist down here, and she's very good. And I've also got a tremor in my left hand, and she's trying to work on that. And there is no cure for that either, other than a brain operation, literally. And she says that does work, but she said it's a little risky. So there are things that we have, I think, as we get older, that we just have to maybe live with. And that's what
we need to complain. It's really important to complain. Complaining is important.
I'm sorry?
Complaining, got to complain a lot. I mean, that's important.
Yeah. Well, I don't complain. And before I got sick, I was able to walk. I could walk around this whole compound, which is about a mile, straight through without stopping with a cane. And I do a lot of walking. We do have an exercise room down here, which I use, weights and the machines. And we got a swimming pool where I swim.
So resistance weight is one of the most important things you can do for neuropathy.
I know.
Of all the things you can do, things that push your muscles as much as possible will cause your body to try to preserve that as long as possible. Yeah, your weight room is really important.
That's right. We've got a good one. Now, it's interesting, though, here, they only one person at a time go in there for half an hour.
So the danger is you're going to catch COVID because you have some fist fight with another restaurant trying to get.
And same thing as swimming pool. One person, one lifeguard, and one swimmer. But it works, and it might take a while to get an appointment to go, but they've got that control. So we're very well organized. But again, thank you all. I'm learning a lot just listening. I wish there was something that would help me though. Haven't heard of it.
I'll tell you, Max, when I see your name on one of these calls, it makes me feel better just to see your name.
Well, thank you.
Say anything
Appreciate it.
or
Same to you, Mike, and I didn't know about your shoulder.
not. Well, I just don't get enough time to complain. It's just, I'm running out of time. It's
Is
horrible.
it a full replacement?
Oh, God, I don't know. You say, you go to the doctor and say, yeah, we can fix that. And I say, oh, okay.
No, but I mean, some people get their shoulder replaced, like a knee.
They said it'll make it work better. And I said, oh, okay.
Okay, well.
Except for the recovery period.
Oh, yeah, that's the whole problem. I mean, that's what's keeping me from just saying yes. Because I use my left arm all the time, because I'm like the Weeble, I'm just wobbling all the time.
So your right arm is the problem?
It's osteoarthritis, the bone on bone. When I do things like this, it goes pop, pop, pop. Every time it goes pop, it rubs a little bit of the bone off.
Doesn't that
And
you go to Jiffy Lube?
Mike, who are you seeing? Who is your doctor for your shoulder?
Kaiser.
For my neuropathy?
No, I'm sorry. I'm asking Mike about.
Oh, you're asking Mike. I'm sorry.
It's the Kaiser shoulder surgeon. Seems to know what he's doing.
It's a cartilage. There's no more cartilage between the bones.
Yeah, the cartilage, it went bye-bye sometime.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you this. My wife had both knees replaced and a hip replaced. And that was a lifesaver for her. Because it was at a time when we were getting ready to travel big time, buy an RV and go all over the United States. And she could not have done it had she not had those things done. Had them done, went through the recovery, and we went travel all over the United States for 8 years.
Gee. Huh.
And she put up with you for the whole time. That's amazing.
So what I'm saying is it does work. And you have to go through some aggravation, of course, in the healing process, but it does work.
They can fix your physical problems like that. There's so many they can fix a lot of physical problems if that's all you have. You need surgery, your arm surgery, you break a bone, it'll mend. But the trouble is, it's really hard to mend when you have PN advanced.
That's right. Because
you can't have your arm in a sling for 6 weeks if that's your good arm.
By the way, does anybody remember that there used to be a black man that came to our meetings who had nerve surgery in his legs?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was a runner. He was very physical. He said he was with his grandchildren a lot now, and he's not doing.
Have you been in contact with him?
No, I've seen him at meetings many years ago, but that time he had some surgery that didn't work very well. He thought it would, and that was discouraging.
Yeah, well, that was the only time I heard of anybody who had nerve surgery.
Yeah, it worked well for him.
And he, as far as I know, he had not come back to the meetings.
Well, he came back a few times, but he did mention that it was not successful how they thought it would be, and so I know he couldn't do the physical stuff. That he was really a great runner. All kinds of awards.
Right. He was a kind of a small guy,
Yeah.
fiery and a big time runner.
Yeah. But he
Yeah.
settled down just with his grandchildren, and I think that's where his main factor right now is with his grandchildren. So that's supportive for him. And I think mentally he's doing all right. It just didn't get physically better like he wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's been real, guys. I'm going to say goodbye for the day. I'm going
Okay.
to say bye-bye. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
You know, if you're having a Friday.
Keep annoying us with those
hour.
emails, will you, Bruce?
Thanks for joining us.
I'd like to join the Friday happy hour if somebody's
Yeah, me too.
sending out messages.
I think that would be a good idea.
Why not?
Happy
Try
hour. Very loose.
Yeah.
It's voluntary. If you don't feel
Right.
it's a good idea, you don't have to go join.
You know.
What else can old men do but get together and complain about their medical problems?
Hey, that's what we get paid the big bucks for, Bruce.
You got it, Mike. Till next
Yeah.
time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take
So-
care.
If we have a possible speaker, who do we contact about that?
Just put it in an email. Yeah.
Well, if you have a hospice speaker,
I say if I have a possible speaker, I'm thinking about this group that I went to. I put notes in the chat on their website and stuff. Maybe inviting them to see if they would
well, I
do
guess,
a talk for us.
contact one of our leaders.
They but the program they outlined sounded pretty interesting. I mean, they got a whole bunch of different stuff, but of course, I said it's very expensive. But they use various kind of lights and stuff to stimulate the nerves and stuff in your feet and all kinds of different things. So I think I can see if they're willing to give us a talk sometime. Maybe.
Well, it's a good thing this Zoom came along or we couldn't get together at all,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, the darn smoke signals, they just make smoke in the whole house. I can't stand it.
I just got it set up on my computer. I didn't know anything about it, but my daughter got me the equipment, and my grandson, he's a computer engineer, he put it in for me. So it works great. It's amazing.
So I got the grandchildren to play Battleship with me.
Okay, on the Zoom?
Yeah, they're in Raleigh. And,
Did they teach
and I was on, the advantage of being on Zoom is you can give them instructions about what to do. And they fumbled around, and then they started squealing because they beat me 3 games to none.
Good,
And one of them,
good.
I was 2 ships ahead, and they still beat me.
Good. By the way, there's a good movie called Battleship. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's a few years old, but if it comes up on TV, look at it. Really kind of a neat movie. You know,
All right.
and the star is a World War II battleship.
Well, it was fun. So you got to find some more games to keep them willing to talk to us old coots. We're gonna have a wedding anniversary here early in October.
We're all fortunate to have people who are willing to put in the effort, including you, Mike.
Yeah, well,
Well, you have put in a lot of effort.
It's fun to me. It's very therapeutic. I don't feel the pain when I'm busy, when I'm talking, when I'm complaining. None of those activities causes a problem. It's when I stop that I let the head talk to the toes.
Yeah.
And that's no fun.
I'm interested in hearing the people who were talking about taking gabapentin. Hell, I was taking 2,400 milligrams a day.
It's
prescribed by a neurologist, and I don't know, it never seemed to bother me. And maybe I acted nutty to some people, but it never seemed to bother me. But it did seem to help me. That's one thing that seemed to help me. Neuron or gabapentin.
Well, your neurologist probably would have recommended anyway, even if you hadn't heard about it from us. Yeah, the neurologist recommended it for me, and I got impatient, and I said, "This is ridiculous. I don't like taking medicine," so I just stopped. And
So you're not taking it, huh?
I don't take anything. I take trazodone at night because it helps me go to sleep. I take a very, very small dose.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people do with gabapentin. They just take it at night to help them go to sleep. And, and if that helps, man, hey, good.
Well, I've got the numbness variety of neuropathy, and but I get a strange feeling with the numbness, and I don't know how to explain what it is, but it's a strange feeling. And when I take the gabapentin, I don't get that feeling. So it's doing something to help.
It's all mental.
In the brain.
I've got a blog post, it's really a long post, about 6 pages long, if you printed it out, about pain, where it comes from, how to, what it is. And actually, it's part of a longer thing about pain, but it's just about how all of this pain lives in your head, because we don't have pain sensors. So Pat was talking about sensors in your ears. We all have sensors, but they're not pain sensors. They're just sensors. They sense something. They sense pressure. They sense chemicals. They sense stuff, and they send a message to the brain. The pain comes from the brain saying, "Oh, these are frightening. These are unusual. This is scary." And when the brain thinks there's a danger, it will cause pain. Pain is a way of your brain tapping you on the shoulder and say, "Do something." But
get out of here.
But you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So you can learn that it's really not dangerous. Not in the dangers like a lion chasing you dangerous. Or you can take a medicine to kind of disrupt the way the brain works a little bit. That's what when I take trazodone at night, it helps me go to sleep. It just says, "Stop functioning, brain, just a little bit for a few minutes so you can go to sleep." Or you can distract yourself by being foolish enough to join a Zoom meeting and talk to other people about all goddamn things in the room. You can. There are these things you can do, but the brain wants you to fix it, like you cut your finger. It wants you to go out and put a Band-Aid on it or put something on it. That's what the brain wants you to do, but there's nothing like that you can do. And so we have to do all these other things, like helping you go to sleep at night, or staying busy, or learning mindfulness or meditation or something, so we can train our brain to just cool it. It's not dangerous. It's not going to hurt me. Stop telling me it's painful. And of course, the stupid brain doesn't listen very well. It's like a teenager.
We may probably need a hypnotist.
Hypnotist might work.
I wonder about
No, truthfully, my wife's a big believer in hypnotism. She had a hypnotist who taught her how to deal with migraines, and she could make that migraine just disappear.
Wow.
Unfortunately, at some point, she forgot how to do it, and she's never learned it back again.
Well, anyhow, it was a very good meeting. That was a pretty good turnout. It was what, 25?
I don't know exactly.
Something like that.
Yes, order of magnitude. Yeah. I was on there twice because I had to use my little laptop to get on, because when we started, I was actually running another Zoom meeting for the Homeowners Association. So I'm in here, if you look, I'm in here twice right now. This is my main computer where I can actually, it's got a monitor, I can see what's going on. The other one's just a little tiny laptop, it's got a screen about that big.
Well, Peter, are you going to have another party anytime soon?
Well, on Zoom, I like the idea of getting together and having like an informal meeting. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not too good to have too many people get together, you know. until
No,
get
we
to-
can't do that. We haven't been able to do that for a while, but when we did it fun. I remember that you help a lot, you and your wife clean up afterwards, and
We thought it was wonderful.
yeah, we had a good time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Well,
right.
we may have a vaccine within a short time. Who knows? Vaccine for the virus. We'll see. We'll see. Well, gentlemen, I think I'm gonna fly the coop because I haven't eaten anything, folks. But by the way, they deliver our meals in a plastic bag at our door.
Oh, yeah,
We're not allowed to eat together.
yeah. Mm.
So
Yeah.
at least once a week, we make a McDonald's run, and we and you
So you
know,
do McDonald's once a week?
once a week at least we go to McDonald's. Anytime we have a letter that we need to mail, oh, she goes, yes, let's go make. And on the way back home, let's stop at McDonald's and get a sundae. Yes, get a caramel sundae. That is what has enabled us to survive this pandemic.
Get a hot fudge sundae at McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah, get a caramel sundae at McDonald's. The
Yeah.
price has gone through
only
the roof. It used to be 89 cents, $2 now.
$2.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
It used to be a dollar.
Yeah, it used to be $1.
I cry every time we go.
You're funny.
Well, good luck to all of you. I hope you find something that works. If you do, please call me and call me correct. And tell me what it is.
Okay.
All right.
I don't want that.
I'm blaming Buy It Max, sir.
Oh, okay. Wait, buy the max. Okay. Have fun.
Take care. Let me see if I can figure out how to cut this sucker off. Let's
There.
see.
Lower right-hand corner should be a leave button.
Oh, here,
Mike.
leave, it says.
You have to
It
wait.
says leave. Yeah, that's the one. Bye.
Now, leave me.
Hey, Mike, have you been down to the Bible Museum yet?
No, I haven't.
I got some free tickets, early entrance for Saturday, the 26th of September, if you're interested.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. It's just really hard to get out. Besides, I don't think they have a McDonald's there.
Well, it opens normally at 10 o'clock, but you can get in at 9 o'clock with these tickets. So I'm going to go down, spend a couple hours, and then I'm going to walk down to the Lincoln Memorial and join Franklin Graham and his group for the prayer march. We're going to pray across the National Mall all the way to the Capitol there. So, and then I'm going to go back to the Bible Museum and see what else they got.
Neat. Yeah, I'd like to see it sometime. I think it's an interesting concept. The church that we attend, we attended on Zoom now, but anyway, the church that we attend, he operates on the assumption that no one knows anything about the Bible or doesn't know any of these religious words. So if he introduces a religious word, he explains what it is and defines it, because we have teenagers and we have young people and we got the middle-aged who thought they knew it but didn't, and older folks who have heard it all their life and thought they knew what it meant, but they were wrong. and so he introduces everything. So if there's a Bible story that he incorporates, he does the same thing. He kind of explains what's going on. Because I can remember growing up and all this stuff was just gobbledygook to me.
They got a lot of good stuff down there. I've even been down there for some special presentations that they've had, speakers and that sort of thing down there. And they had Amazing Grace, the play there a couple times.
Oh,
and it was a place where they have plays as well. But they have a lot of interesting things, and they even have a room for the Catholics where they get to put their stuff in there too. You know, so it's not just Protestant stuff. They got Catholic stuff in there too, and everything.
And Mormons. The Book of
I
Mormon.
don't recall seeing any Mormon stuff particularly. No. It might be, but I might have missed it. But it's a very, I recommend it highly when you get a chance to get down there. I'm a supporter of it. That's the reason I get these free tickets. So
neat.
Yeah.
That's neat. Maybe when all this thing gets over, I don't know. Walking is such a problem.
Well, you can get a wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
I took my co-grandfather, who's really obese. He was visiting, and they even had the double wide wheelchairs that he could get in. So I rolled him all around there, and it's set up, to where you can pretty much everything.
So she's got a foot. She thinks it's a good idea. Would you like to make that a big trip? Oh, well, I'm being boxed in. I'm being boxed in, Rodney. She thinks it's a great idea.
All right, well, that's good. I've got a parking spot that's only like a block away from it for $10. So I'm going to drive down.
That's a deal.
But if you can take the metro, it's pretty close to the metro, too. So,
a few years ago, we went to National Geographic, I think. Is that right, Lindy? Yeah, National Geographic. And we drove down and we reserved a parking spot somewhere. And we walked over to the National Geographic, which is near the White House. And not too far away. And we got a wheelchair because it was just otherwise I know I would have made it all the way through whatever the show was, and I don't remember what it was. But we had a lot of fun doing that. So she helped get around in the wheelchair. That was 2 or 3 years ago, right, Lindy? Yeah. And so I was walking okay, but I'm running out of gas. Like I wouldn't have been able to get all the way through it just walking. And yeah, it worked really nice. Okay, we about made a sale here for your tickets.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
If you want to do it, let me know. I'll mail them to you.
Oh,
actually, no, I think I can send them to you electronically.
Oh, how about that?
They're a PDF. How many you want?
Just the 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get up to 8 each time, and somehow I oversubscribed and I got 2 sets of 8 for the. So I got 16. I'll email you. I'll email you some.
Very good. Yes. Yes. I may have to really splurge on McDonald's too.
Well, if you're going to drive, I recommend you check now for park on their website. If you go to the website Bible Museum, then you can click on parking and it'll show the parking that's around there. And I got the cheapest one, which is too far away, and that was $10. But everything else is $24 and above.
Yeah, well, even so, it's a good. It's okay.
I got it for $10. So
yeah,
I will send you some tickets.
Good. Good.
And I'll look forward to getting the recordings from you and whoever else took recordings. And I will try to put some notes together here in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah. I have to stop the recording here because it's being recorded on this other Mike Foxworth on the laptop. All right. Enough of that. I think it's time to go.
Okay. Well, God bless, my friend.
All right.
Stay safe. Well, the Lord be with you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. Leave.